Fable 5 is back.
Europe has to wait until Washington has made a decision. European capital finances American AI, and Washington decides whether Europe is allowed to use it or not. My money, your rules. But then, who finances Europe's AI? The Trump administration has ordered Anthropic to block the two most powerful models, Fable 5 and Mythos 5, for all non-US citizens. Reason: national security. Anthropic blocked access within hours, even for their own foreign employees, for all customers outside the US. 3 weeks later, Washington decided to release Fable 5 again after all, because a new safety classifier closed the jailbreak loophole. Mythos 5 remains blocked. If you're looking for a single scenario that shows the situation Europe is in when it comes to AI, this is it. Not the block alone, but the fact that the release came just as much by decree as the block. And Europe had no say in either case. Mistral, the largest European model lab, is valued at 11.7 billion euros, a fraction of OpenAI or Anthropic. Aleph Alpha, for years the German hope, was acquired by Canadian Cohere in April 2026. The question is, who is actually supposed to finance this, if not ourselves? And why aren't we doing it? Politics and business are two different crafts. Whoever is good at one is usually bad at the other. That's not an insult. That's division of labor. Problems only arise when one side believes it can replace the other. That is exactly what has been happening in Europe with the capital market for over 10 years. Since 2014, Brussels has been talking about the Capital Markets Union, now renamed the Savings and Investment Union. Nothing has happened. The economic diagnosis is undisputed among experts. Letter Draghi 2024. Every serious analysis says the same thing. And yet, 27 national regulators, 27 insolvency regimes, 27 tax systems. Anyone sitting in Vienna who wants to invest in Lisbon faces more bureaucratic hurdles than with a US investment. The result? European savers put hundreds of billions of euros net into US assets every year. Not out of enthusiasm, but because the structures here don't offer anything better. Defense and the energy transition are often cited as reasons. Neither is valid. Tanks don't create productivity, and the energy transition failed due to political interference in the market. The relevant topics in 2026 look different. AI, Mistral, 11.7 billion euros, OpenAI, over 500 billion US dollars, Aleph Alpha sold to Canada, Anthropic's top models blocked for Europe. Robotics, Neurorobotics from Baden-Württemberg just raised 1.4 billion US dollars. Figure AI in the US, 39 billion valuation, and China dominates 80% of global humanoid robot shipments. Energy for computing capacity. The European data center industry needs around 114 billion US dollars by 2030. Electricity demand is growing by about 17% annually. Capacity is getting more expensive because electricity is scarce. These are the areas where productivity growth will be generated over the next 20 years. EU politics cannot raise the capital. 20 budgets with veto power. The banking system can't do it either. Bank loans are difficult or don't work at all for pre-revenue tech. That leaves only the capital market, which Europe doesn't have. Yet the EU knows exactly how to do it. Through SFDR and taxonomy, Brussels has redirected billions in flows into green investments without spending a single euro of public money. Private capital, guided by regulatory incentives. That would be directly transferable. Tax privileges for EU equities in the KEST. A functioning pan-European pension product, the PEPP, has existed since 2022 and has flopped. None of this is intellectually difficult. All of it is politically uncomfortable, because politicians would have to give up power. A single European regulator weakens Paris, Luxembourg, and Frankfurt. A harmonized insolvency law scraps national privileges. A pan-European pension product puts pressure on savings banks, cooperatives, and life insurers. These structures are closely intertwined with national politics. Politicians do not give up power voluntarily, not even for a better outcome. And now it gets personal. If I, as an investor in Europe, cannot invest in European assets, if I cannot direct European innovation because I lack the structures, and at the same time, politicians are thinking about taxing my already taxed wealth a second time through inheritance and wealth taxes, why should I continue to provide capital to this system? It's simple mechanics. Anyone who wants to deploy capital efficiently and finds that the system blocks this use will protect their capital. And this doesn't just affect a few wealthy individuals, but everyone whose retirement savings are trapped in European markets through pension funds and insurance companies. A European capital market would not only allocate money more efficiently, it would distribute responsibility. It would turn investors into co-creators instead of mere tax subjects. And that is exactly why it doesn't exist. That is exactly why we must demand it. If this topic is important to you, comment, like, subscribe to the channel. You can find the link to the article in the description.